What's that? Oh, looks like season 2 of Arcane is out, and all the League of Legends people are going crazy about it again. I mean, I gotta justify this Netflix payment somehow, right? I should probably watch the most popular thing on a damn platform. Can't see myself getting too invested though.
1 week later.
Alright. Yeah, it's pretty good. The end of video. Can you imagine? Okay, hi, hello, how's it going? It's me, not a League of Legends gamer, and even after this, I still don't intend to become a League of Legends gamer. If anything, I'm just more curious about the MMO that they're making now, if they're still making that. But yes, I decided to give Arcane a try. I know I was joking at the start, I had heard that it's fantastic even if you have no knowledge or interest in League of Legends. But as someone cursed with a contrarian brain, the more times something gets recommended to me, the more hype I hear about something, the more scrutiny I give it, and the less likely I am to actually watch it. So every now and again, in the interests of countering that stupid instinct, I decide to actually just go ahead and watch the damn most popular series on Netflix. I'm assuming it is anyway. And I think, before I veer into spoiler territory, if you are considering giving Arcane a try, give it 3 episodes. You will probably be in by the end of the second episode, but you will know whether or not you're in by the end of the third. At the end of the first episode, I was kind of like, okay, the animation's really good. It's clearly very high production. I found it a little bit distracting, just how everyone was doing something. All the movements were very exaggerated. All the sound effects were very, pleasing to the ears. This was probably mostly just my contrarian brain talking, but I was like, okay, I get it. You're Arcane. Why do people care about you? Almost let myself get distracted after episode 1, but made myself stay around for episode 2. Was curious enough to march right on into episode 3, and then by the end of episode 3 I was having an emotional reaction to the story, and I would like to talk about that a little bit more, so I will now be veering into spoiler territory. The whole backstory with Violet and Powder, and, them becoming Vi and Jinx, and everything that goes down with Vanda and their their adoptive siblings, I guess you could say they're cousins most likely. That stuff hit me like a ton of bricks, and I still don't quite understand why. It was just so well done, and so tragic. I'm a writer. Sometimes I think about, if I'm making backstories for characters or whatever, I think to myself, you're kind of limited in options sometimes because everyone has a family, everyone's parents are going to be a formative part of their original personality, you can't get away from that, and there are only so many ways you can spin a story in that direction that are original or interesting. I think Arcane has taught me, it was quite original and interesting, but at the same time it tells me it's not always about being inherently unique. It can be about how well you tell the story, how relatable you can make the characters, how much you can bring the reader or the viewer into their pain, their emotional trauma, how much you can make them care about the characters. Because, oh my god, obviously I love Jinx. She's the poster child for the entire franchise. I get it. She's great. And I always love me a mentally unhinged character. They're very fun. But if I'm being honest, the focus of my emotional investment in the show was Vi. I cared so much about Vi, and I really just wanted her to be happy. I just wanted her to be okay. And oh boy, does this show put her through the ringer. And yeah, just watching how these sisters evolve as characters, and where circumstance brings them, and where the pain and the trauma of the consequences of those circumstances take them. It was downright riveting to watch, exploring things like blame and identity and forgiveness, and just how far can someone go before they're irredeemable and different and no longer the person that you once knew. Exploring how you could possibly take a character whose parents were killed by one faction to end up working for that faction because of the actions of their other family member, and making that believable. Of course, it wasn't all about Jinx and Vi. It was also about the discovery of magic, which is probably not the first time it's been done, and it probably wasn't an original idea to begin with, but it is something that I've had in my brain as like that would be a fun plot point to do for a book one day. But magic here is used as a allegory for technological advancement throughout the 20th and 21st century, and things being used for warfare and being unable to put the genie back in the bottle in that kind of a way. How sometimes even the best intentions of technological, or I guess magical advancement can lead down a very dark path. One thing I really admire about the show as well, and despite not playing League of Legends and never caring about playing of League of Legends, it is because of League of Legends. Just the expansive amount of lore there is behind this world. Even though this show feels very focused and very self-contained, you can tell that it's part of a larger world. And while they teach you everything you need to know within the show, you get the impression that, if I want to learn more about this kind of world, I can go and do that. Again, for the first time, I'm actually invested in the MMO they're building. I can't stop thinking about what if Warcraft managed to make an animated show on this scope and scale. Like, I think the lore is there for it. If you follow, like, the story of Arthas and stuff, I think you could make a show to rival Arcane, maybe. Might have to change some things, might have to adapt some things into a better flow for the different medium of narrative, but still. Arcane is one of those shows. I was thinking about this on a toilet a minute ago, right? I don't know why I included that. Arcane is one of those shows that feels so self-contained and tidy. It's got this entire cast of characters, and at various points in the story they kind of intersect and change allegiances, and there are some near misses in terms of this character is here because of this character, but it's not necessarily relevant to the plot, and they don't know that about each other. But that brings additional value to the experience of watching the show or experiencing the story, because you as the viewer get to go, you wouldn't even be there without this person, and neither of you know that. You know what that's called? Dramatic irony. It's just so cool. I don't know that I've got all that much else to say about this show, even though I'm sat here being like, I think it's safe to call this show a masterpiece. I mean, it wasn't perfect. For instance, I think the whole Ambessa Madada becoming an invading enemy and leading a war against her daughter, that could have been explored a little bit more. It felt like that just kind of happened without all that much emotional exploration of that. Until its climax, anyway, right? But these are small things, right? These are things that I kind of look back on and notice later. All in all, I don't think I've been this emotionally invested in a show since Andor, unless Attack on Titan came after that. Either way, this is easily the best thing I've watched this year, and I'm so glad I decided to watch it. Turns out that sometimes when people say that this show is amazing, and there are so many people saying that, it's because the show is actually amazing. Who would have guessed? Thanks for checking in. Let me know what you thought about the show, and I'll catch you in whatever I make next. And no, I'm not going to play League of Legends.